Okay, they're asking us to simplify the complex fractions. So, as you notice, we have 36 and x. We're missing in here, as you look at your least common denominator, it should be 36x. And we are missing the 36 here, so we're going to multiply top and bottom by 36. And in this side, we're going to multiply by x, top and bottom. So that is going to give me x squared negative 36 times 1 is going to be 36. And on the bottom, I'm going to have 36x and 36x. Now, in the bottom, I have at the least common denominator, I have x. So I'm going to multiply only on the left one, top and bottom, by x. So I can have the same denominator. So x times 1 is going to be x over x plus 6 over x. Now that I have the same denominator, I can combine them. Really, you cannot add them because there are no like terms, but at least you can put them over one fraction bar. So we're going to have x squared minus 36. All this is going to be over 36x. Equal sign. And on the bottom, the same thing is happening. I'm going to have x plus 6. All that over x. The only one that I can work it out is the very top one, because as you notice, we have the difference of 2 squares. So we're going to factor that one out. So I can do it shorter, we don't have to go so long. You know, when you divide a fraction, dividing a fraction with a fraction, you need to do the skip, flip, multiply, right? So skip, we're going to rewrite this one as it is, but I'm going to factor it out. You know, one part has to be negative, the other one has to be positive. Factors of x squared is going to be x and x. 36 is going to be 6 and 6. And all this is over 36x. The other fraction I'm going to skip, flip, multiply. So the x is going to be on the top and it's going to be over x plus 6. As you notice, we can cancel some stuff in here. I can cancel x plus 6 with x plus 6 in here. This x cancel with this x. And my answer is going to be x minus 6 over 36. Do you have the copy? Yeah, we don't have the choices here, but you can see it there. Do you have questions with this one? No. Question number 2. Use the square root method to solve the equation. The square root method means that you need to put in a square root on top of it. I'm going to rewrite it just because I need a little bit more of space. You're going to put in a square root on top of it, both of them. So this the exponent 2 kind of breaks with the square root, and we can free the stuff that is inside the square root. So we have 2x plus 3 equals a square root of 25 is going to be 5. The plus and the minus. Always when you do the square root method, you have to do plus and minus. So here is we solve for x. We have two choices. 2x plus 3 plus 5 is we go with the positive choice, or we can do 2, and we have to do 2x plus 3. I'm sorry, flip this stuff around. Equals, we can do negative, and this one we can do the positive 5. So you have to solve for both the positive and the negative. To solve for x, we're going to subtract 3x, 3 in both sides, cancel 3. Now we have 2x equals, that is negative a. divide by 2, divide by 2, cancel. Now we have that x is equals to a negative 4. That's one of the answers. The other one, we're going to do the same thing. Subtract 3, both sides of the equal sign, cancel. Now we have 2x equals 2. Divide by 2, both sides of the equal sign, cancel. Now we have that x is equals to 1. So our answer is negative 4, 1. Good. 3. Solve the rational equation. Okay, this one, if you notice your choices, we don't have fractions, so we're going to go ahead and cancel the fraction. How I do that? I'm going to multiply here by p plus 3, the opposite side, and here by p minus 3. You know when you do double, right? You multiply by both of them. This cancel with this one. That's kind of, I'm skipping it. So I just multiply across. Okay. So now I have to distribute 4 here. So I'm going to have 4p minus 12. I didn't write the p. Give me just a second. Let me fix this. 4p. And here I distributed 2. I'm going to have 2p plus 6. And you distribute here the 2. Now we're solving for p. I'm going to subtract 2p on both sides of the equal sign. Here cancel. Now I have 2p minus 12 equals to 6. Now I'm going to add 12 on both sides of the equal sign. Cancel here. Now I have 2p equals to 18. Gonna keep on going here. Now I have 2p equals 18 divided by 2, divided by 2, cancel. Now I have p equals 9. Question number 4. Hello. We have copies on the table. So by factoring, since our leading coefficient is 1, we're going to go straight forward and open a set of parentheses. Factors of x squared is going to be x and x. You bring down the first sign, which is positive. To figure out the second sign, you multiply positive and a negative, give you negative. Factors of 16. We have 1 and 16, 2 and 8. Because the signs are different, we're looking for a factor. The factors that subtracted together will give you a positive 6, which is going to be here. Positive and negative is going to give me the number that I'm looking for. So A, 2. Next we have to solve completely. No, the answer is until there. So that will be your answer. That is okay? Yeah? Okay. Question number 5. Which method they use? We're going to do the same thing. Open a set of parentheses. Factors of x squared is going to be x and x. Bring down the positive sign, the first one. To figure out the second one, we're going to multiply positive and a positive, give me positive. Now here I have more factors. So it's going to be 1 and 25. 2. It's going to be 5 and 5. And then I have 13, which is a prime number. That's the only 2 factors for 13. Since I don't have that many choices for the factors of these 2 numbers, I'm gonna go straight forward and factor with trial and error. 13 is only two choices, so I'm gonna place a 13 here and 1, and I'm gonna try 5 and 5. We can check our factoring by multiplying inners and outers. So if I multiply inners, that's gonna give me 5x. If I multiply outers, I need help with the calculator. That's gonna be 13 times 5, 65. That gives me positive 65x. If I add them together, because both are positive, it's going to give me 70x, which matches the middle term, so that means it's correct. Because we have the equal sign equals to 0, that means we have to take each parenthesis and equal that to 0 and solve for x. So I subtract 1 in each side of the equal sign. I have 5x equals -1. Divide by 5, both sides. Cancel. So now I have x equals -1 over 5. That's one of the answers. The other one, I need to take the other parentheses. 5x plus 13 equals to 0. I subtract 13, both sides, cancel. Now I have 5x equals -13 divided by 5. I have x is equals to -13 over 5. Let me know if you have any questions. Questions? No? Next one. Number 6. Factoring. Easy to see that we have a 4 as a common factor, so that's what you need to do. When you have a binomial, always look for, every time you factor in, the first thing that you have to do is look for what is in common so you can put out your common factor. But then when we have binomials, we don't have that much to do, so that's kind of only one thing that we have to do. So we're going to divide both of the terms by 4. So the factor that I'm pulling now, I'm going to put in the front of the parentheses, and then 4 divided by 4, they're going to cancel each other out. So I ended up with the x squared. 44 divided by 4 is going to give me 11. We have equals to 0, so that means we have to equal everything to 0. So 4 equals to 0, that's not true. So that answer is discard. Now we're going to do this one. X squared minus 11 equals to 0. We're going to add 11 in both sides of the equal sign, cancel, and we have x squared equals to 11. The only way to solve for x, because we are not looking for x squared, we have to find x. So we have to factor by using the square root method. So this cancels with that. Now we have x is equals to plus minus a square root of 11. That is going to be your answer. Positive, negative 11. Question number 7. A painter can finish painting a house in 7 hours. Her assistant takes 9 hours to finish the same job. How long will it take them to complete the job if they were working together? Every time you have a problem like this, they can say painting, fixing a car, mowing the lawn, and stuff like that. Always remember the setup is going to be the same. They're going to change numbers and what is that they're doing. the type of job. So if one can finish one job in 7 hours, plus we're gonna figure out then together how long it would take. The other one does the same job, one job in 9 hours. So that one job, that equals to that one job, how long it would take, the time on the bottom, that's what we're looking for, x. You know, in order for us to add fractions, we have to have the same denominator. They don't have anything in common. So the only thing that I can do is multiply top and bottom by 9, and in this side, I'm gonna multiply top and bottom by 7. 9 times 1 is gonna be 9. 9 times 7 is gonna be 63. 7 times 1 is gonna be 7. 9 times 7, 63. That equals to 1 over 7. Now that I have the same denominator, I can add the fraction. So 9 times 7 is going to give me, I'm not doing math right now, 16. 16 over 63, that is equals to 1 over x. The x is on the bottom and I need it on the top, so we can do something here. Let's just flip the fraction. So I'm going to have 63 over 16. I don't write the 1 on the bottom because we don't need it. So that will be your answer. They have the answers, I don't know, in hours or, oh yeah. Sorry, I left it as a fraction. Yes, it's 3.9 hours. So the time is going to be 3.9 hours. Question number 8. Subtract expressions. In order for us to subtract fractions, we have to have the same denominator. Before you start working any of these crazy fractions, look at your choices. If you don't have fraction, that means you can cancel the fractions, the denominator. If your answer have fractions, you have to stick to them, and you have to work it out. So here, in order for me to combine them, I have to find my least common denominator, which in this case is going to be y minus 1 and y plus 3. So I'm going to multiply in the right side by top and bottom, y minus 1. And on the left side, I'm going to multiply by y plus 3, top and bottom. In the denominator, I don't have to FOIL, I don't have to solve it, I just need to write it, my 2 parentheses. And the top, I need to FOIL them. So x times x, y times y, I'm sorry, give me y squared. Negative 2 times y is going to give me negative 2y. 3 times y. And positive and a negative is going to give me a negative 6. That's minus. In the denominator, the same thing. I just need to rewrite them. Y minus 1. And then the top, I need to FOIL this. So y squared minus y minus 2y minus 2. The important thing when you're working with fractions or subtracting them is to remember this negative sign in here, you have to distribute it. So that is going to give me negative, positive, positive, and positive. I'm going to combine like terms. So it's going to be y, positive y, because here I have positive and negative 6, and this is going to be over the 2 same parentheses, y minus 1, Now here, I can combine the two terms in the middle. So I'm going to have y squared. These two, they're going to give me 3y plus 2. All this over y plus 3, y minus 1. Now, on the top, I'm ready to combine them. So I'm going to have 2y squared, 4y, and it's going to be negative 4. All these over the two same parentheses. I'm writing minus 3, minus 1. Oh, that's plus, I'm sorry. This is a plus. The 3, okay. Now I'm going to factor the top one. Open a set of parentheses. Yes. I distribute. Yes, you're right. It should be a negative. Sorry. Yeah, this is a negative 1. I change it. Yes, it's a negative 1. It's right here. Okay, so that means that the first two are going to cancel. You have one spot here, and yeah, we can move the table. Not to fix this because they're moving the table, and that's the table for this stuff. So I don't know what to move the stuff because that's the table for this. No, yeah, thank you. Okay. So yes, we have here a negative y. So go back and cancel that out. So the top we can factor. On the top we have a 4 as a common factor. So that is going to give me 4 times y is going to be for y, and 4 times negative 1 is going to be the negative 4. All this is over y plus 3, y minus 1. These two are going to cancel, and your final answer is going to be 4 over y plus 3. Write the equation of the line containing the given points. When they give you 2 points and you don't have anything else, you have to go straight forward for to find the slope. 2 minus 1, x2 minus x1. So I like to label, if not I get confused. x2, y2. y2 is 9 minus, always pay attention to the signs in here, they do on purpose to get you with the signs. So make sure that you write then minus, and it's going to be minus 2. So 9 minus negative times a negative is going to give you a positive 15. 6 and the same thing. Negative times negative is going to be a positive 2. This is 9. It's going to be 24 over 8. If you simplify that, it's going to be 3. So your slope is 3. Now that you have the slope, you can go ahead and use this formula. Y minus y1 equals to m, open parentheses, x minus x1. You can pick any number. You don't have to use the 1 or the 2. Either number will work. So I'm going to use the 2 and 15. Negative 2, negative 15. So this is my x and y. So I'm going to go here and plug it in the 1. So it's negative, negative 15, 3. And for the x, it's going to be negative, negative 2. I'm going to clean this up. Negative times a negative is going to be a positive 15 equals to 3. X, clean my signs, it's going to be a positive 2. Now I'm going to start working this out. First, start by distributing the 3. It's going to give you 3x plus 6. Now we're going to subtract 15 in both sides of the equal sign. 15 cancel. Now we have y equals 3x minus 9, I think. No one have a calculator out? 9? Yeah, thank you. Negative 9, yes. So that's your answer. How to know which formulas to use is sometimes difficult because we have a lot of formulas for graphing. But keep in mind, if you don't have anything else but 2 points, you have to use the formula that you use 2 points, which is the slope formula. And from there, you have a couple choices. Some people like to solve for b and go from that. I like this formula. The slope intercept, point slope. You have questions with this one? Okay, we're going to number 10. Solve the radical equation. The first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to isolate one of the radicals to make it a little bit easier. I'm going to add in both sides of the equal sign a square root of x plus 1. So it cancels here. Now I have the square root of 2x plus 3 equals to 1 plus a square root of x plus 1. The only way that you can solve these ones, because it's no way that you can get anything out of here, is by raising everything to the second power. These two break with the square root, and you can get the stuff out. So the 2x plus 3 now are free. Here, it's a little bit more work. You have to remember that every time you have a parenthesis with an exponent, that means you have 2 of those parentheses, and we have to break it apart, and we have to FOIL. So we're going to multiply here, and here, here, and here. I have 2x plus 3. 1 times 1 is going to be 1. 1 times the square root of x plus 1 is going to give me the same thing. And then a square root of x plus 1 times 1 is going to give you the same thing. And then a square root times a square root. This is going to happen the same thing. It's going to break with the exponent. That means I'm going to have 2 of these because I'm multiplying the square root by himself. So this is going to cancel at the end, and I'm going to have x plus 1. So I'm going to keep on rewriting this, and I'm going to go here and try to clean up. So I have 2 square roots that are exactly the same. So that means I have 2 square root of x plus 1. This breaks with this, and I have plus x plus 1. Now I need to simplify again. 2x plus 3 equals 2. I have x here, and I have a 1 and a 1. So 1 plus 1 is going to be 1. 1 plus 1 is going to be 2, plus x, and this square root, which is 2 square root of x plus 1. Getting you guys lost? This is really long. It is a lot of work. So don't let me keep on going. It's in understanding. I'm trying to go slow because sometimes I myself screw up. I'm trying to go quick so I don't get you bored being so slow. But I think I'm going too fast still. Yes? Okay, no, that's good that you let me know because now I can slow down because I get nervous. Like, let me do this quick so they don't get bored. I know if that doesn't work. Huh? I was going slow. Okay, you need to stop me and let me know. It's different when you're standing up in here. It's so different when you're sitting down over there. You want me to go over what I did already? Okay, this is really long and have a lot of steps, and we are gonna only half away. We have to do a lot more to get this done. So and it's a lot of blue. Trying to switch some colors too. Okay. Where you got lost? Maybe here? Okay. When I multiply here this 3b, right? 1 times 1. This is another thing. It's give me the 1, right? And then I multiply 1 times the square root. It's going to be the square root, right? And then I go to the second number. Here, I go the square root times 1 is going to give me the square root again, the same thing. And then the square root times the square root is going to give me 2 of the same. You cancel them. Normally, you don't even have to do this step. I did it so you guys see what happened with it. But every time you multiply in a square root times the same square root, what is going to happen? You multiply the number that is inside with the number that is inside. So you're going to get a square root of 9. What is the square root of 9? 3. So you know that when you multiply the same thing, they're going to cancel each other out and you're going to get the 3. So when you have the same square root multiplying the same square root, you don't even have to do the step. You just write what is inside out the square root. So that is going to have, that's the idea. That's why we're multiplying one parenthesis with the other one, because we're trying to cancel the square root. So this one got canceled. Now what I'm trying to clean up is the stuff that is around. I have the 1 and the 1. I combine it, now it's 2. I have 2 square root of x plus 1 is here. And the x, I rewrite it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to move those 2 to this side. I'm going to leave the square root by himself in one side. So I'm going to subtract 2, and I'm going to subtract 2, cancel here. Now I have 2x minus 1 equals to x plus 2 x square root of x plus 1. Now I'm going to move the x to the other side. Huh? No, yeah, you're right. I did a negative 1. It should be a plus 1. Thank you. Now I'm going to move the x to the other side. I'm going to combine it with the 2x. So negative x, this cancel. Now I have x plus 1 equals to 2 square root of x plus 1. Okay. Again, the only way that we can get rid of the square root when you have something like that, adding together an excess, stuff that is not perfect square, the only way that you can get rid of the square root is by raising to the second power. So we're going to do this again. This is going to break with this, and the 2 is going to be 4 multiplying whatever is inside the square root. The parentheses is going to be, again, double, and we have to do FOIL again. Over again the point. Okay. What is happening here is this. I'm going to do it on the side. We have 2 square root of x plus 1. If we raise this to the second power, what is happening is I have 2 square root, they are the same. They're going to cancel with each other, right? Whatever is inside is going to get out as it is. X plus 1. The 2 is being distributed to the 2 as well. And I have a 1 here as an exponent. So now I have 2 to the second power, right? The 2 was multiplying the square root, so they still need to be multiplying. 2 times 2 is going to give me 4. So I have 4 multiplying x plus 1. I try to shortcut it because if you break it like that in a test, you're going to need 2 pages just for this one problem. So I'm teaching you on the side what is happening in the background, but this is what you have to do if you can. So at least for you to try. So now here I need to distribute the 4. 4x, 4 times 1, it will be 4. And we have to do the whole FOIL thing in here again. So x times x are going to get x squared. X times 1 is going to be x. 1 times x is going to give me x. 1 times 1 is going to be 1. Now we're going to move everything to the left side because I have the square root in the left, the x squared on the left, and it's positive. I want to keep it that way. So I'm going to subtract 4x. I'm going to combine these two. I have 2x plus 1 in here. Now I'm going to move the 4x. Negative 4x. These cancel. I have x squared. That's going to give me negative 2x plus 1 equals to 4. Now I'm going to move the 4 to the other side by subtracting 4. Subtracting 4. This cancel. Now I have x squared minus 2x minus 3 equals to 0. Now we need to factor. Open a set of parentheses. Factors of x squared is going to be x and x. The first sign, you just bring it down. The second one, we multiply negatives and a negative. It's going to be positive. Factors of 3 is going to be 1 and 3. I need to place the largest number first so I can match the sign. Now we're going to equal each parenthesis to 0. So subtract 1 both sides. Cancel, and I have x is equals to negative 1. And in here add 3, both sides of the equal sign. Cancel, I have x equals 3. And those are your 2 answers. I was trying to show more of it. This problem I think is the hardest and the longest one of the whole review. Okay, question 11. domain of the rational function. Every time they ask you for the domain and you have a fraction, you have to take care of the denominator. So we're going to rewrite it, and we have to equal this to 0. The whole point is to find which number will make the denominator 0, so we don't use that one, because that will make our fraction undefined. As you notice, we have the difference of two squares. This is the perfect square and the perfect square with a negative sign. So we have to open a set of parentheses. One has to be positive, the other one has to be negative. And then we find the factor, which is x for x squared and 3 for the 9. And we have to equal each parenthesis to 0. Solve for x by subtracting 3, both sides of the equal sign. Add 3. Now we have x is equals to 3. Our domain is going to be all real numbers but 3 and negative 3. So x cannot equals to negative 3 or 3. They didn't specify how they want the answers. You had set builder notation in your review. So it's what I did, just you add the curly bracket and say x such a thing as, and close with the curly bracket. Questions on this one? Okay, 12. Write the equation of a function that have the given characteristics. If they give us a basic one for the square root, which is this one, and they're telling us that it was shifted 9 units to the left, when it moves on the left and right, it's moving here in the x-axis. And that happens contra logic and inside any grouping symbol. And the square root is a grouping symbol. So because it's moving left or right, we know it's going to be inside something and it's going to be against whatever they're saying. If they're saying that it's moving left, we have to do positive because the right side is the one that have the positive number. Okay. Here is the positive numbers and here are the negative. So it's gonna be to the opposite side. So it's gonna be plus 9.
You have a mouse or something even on the little box in the bottom left?
Yeah, I have a mouse, but it's not that. Sometimes it reads the shadow, and after it does it once, it keeps on doing it. So I cannot even, the mouse does whatever the other thing is doing. It's going to do a few times, and then it's going to stop by himself. They told me to call IT when this happened. The thing is coming up and coming up and coming up, but IT is not there. So it looked like it stopped already, but it was not letting me write. You see how the numbers and the signs are coming up. It stopped. It does that like a few times and then stop by itself.
My best guess, if it really gets excessive, it's just light reflecting off this over here. Just put that over there.
Okay.
And it'll probably stop it.
Leave it there, just in case.
It depends.
Okay. It was working just fine until now.
Okay.
Ah, it's doing it again. It did it once.
Yeah, and that's actually helping from the high. Or not. I'll just get rid of this.
For this one, is it telling you this going left? So you're going to use the opposite sign. It's going to be a positive 9. So it moves contra logic when it's inside a grouping symbol. Questions on this one? The plus 9? Because it's telling you that it's going to the left 9 units. So you're going to use the opposite sign. It's going left, just think about negative, right? It's contra logic. Every time it's inside a grouping symbol and it's moving on the x-axis. And the x-axis always is going to move left and right. So every time they're telling you about it's moving right or left, you need to put inside any grouping symbol that you will have in the function, and you're going to use the opposite sign. If it's saying left, you're going to use the positive. If it's telling you that it's going right, you're going to use the negative sign. It's no more explanation for that. It's just contra logic. When it's outside the grouping symbol, if they will tell you it goes down by 3 units, it's outside the grouping symbol, and it will go with the sign. Down here we have the negative sign for the y, right? And here will be the positive. So outside the grouping symbol and going in the y up and down, it will be with the logic. Inside grouping symbol, x-axis, contra logic. 13, long division. We're going to set our long division. We have x squared plus 12x plus 32. The idea is to cancel the first term. So you have to think by what you need to multiply x to get x squared. We need x, right? X and x is going to give me x squared. And then I need to multiply the second term. X times 4 is going to give me 4x. Here the trick is that you need to remember always you need to flip the sign. So this is going to be a negative x and a negative 4x. The idea is to cancel the first term, and that happens. So we're good. Now we combine these two. It's a negative 4, right? So it's going to give me 8x. And I bring down the next term, which is 32. Now I need to figure out by what I need to multiply the x to cancel 8x. I'm missing 8, so I'm going to add 8 times x is going to give me 8x, and then 8 times 4, oh, that's going to be 32. And because we need to flip all the signs always, so this is going to be negative, and this one is going to be negative as well. So this is going to cancel, and your answer is 0. No, the answer is C, x plus 8. Do you have questions? That is a rule. It's a step that you always have to do. Always after you multiply, you're going to flip the signs. You have to do it every single time. Question 14. Solve the system by elimination. It looked easy to me to cancel y just because it's right there by himself. So to cancel y, I'm going to multiply by negative 2. If I multiply the top equation by negative 2, I'm going to be able to cancel y. So eliminate y. So I'm going to distribute the negative 2 to all the terms. So I'm going to have negative 4x minus 2y, positive, negative, and negative is going to give me a positive 18. And I'm going to rewrite the second equation, plus 2y equals to negative 12. Now I'm able to eliminate y. I'm going to combine x's, so it's going to be a negative x equals to, if I subtract 12 from 18, 6, right? I'm looking for x, not for negative x. That means that it has to multiply everything by a negative 1, so I can flip the signs. I can change this one to a positive. So I'm going to have negative 6. If you look at your choices right there, you could stop. We can still find y, but you can see the 14. It's only two choices, no, only one choice with x to be negative 6. So right there you will know your answer. If you're taking the test, I'm just giving you some clues so you don't waste time. But you learn how to do it, so we're going to still do it. I'm going to pick the top equation again, and I'm going to substitute x. So it's going to be 2 negative 6 plus y equals negative 9. So I distribute here, it's going to be a negative 12 plus y equals negative 9. I'm going to add 12 both sides of the equal sign. Cancel here. Now I have y equals, the signs are different, so I subtract, keep the sign of the largest one is 3. Yeah, it's letter A. There's many ways to do it. Maybe you're thinking about substitution. Yeah, they're asking you for elimination. They want you to cancel one of them. There's many ways to do it. Even doing elimination, different steps, maybe you choose to use the bottom equation to solve for. Yeah, the answer is going to be x negative 6 and y positive 3. If you look at, did you have a copy? Look at your choices. It's letter A. Question 15. Factor the polynomial by completely. Factor the polynomial completely. If you look at it, when you have a cube, always think about the difference of two cubes. To figure out the number, you know you have to have A and B, right? A is going to be x, and B, I don't even know on top of my head by looking at that number, but I know I'm working with cubes. So take your calculator, do the cubic root of 216, and it's going to give you the number that you need to use. What did it give you? 6, yeah. So 6 is going to be your B. And remember, you have to know the formula for this one. If you have x cubed minus 216, the formula for this is going to be A minus B, A squared plus AB plus B squared. I have a little trick how to remember the signs because sometimes I don't even remember the signs. If you have the difference, because it can be the addition of the two cubes, if you have the difference, the signs are going to be the same, the first two, right? The first one with the second one is going to be the opposite. How you write opposite? Opposite. And the last one always is going to be positive. So does that help you to remember the formula? After you know the formula and you figure out what is your A and what is your B, the only thing that you need to do is substitute A and B inside the formula. So x cubed minus 216 equals to a is going to be x minus b is 6, a squared, x to the second power, plus a times b is going to be 6x. B squared is 6 to the second power. That should be all. That's your answer. You never can really solve this one. You're just gonna put it into the formula. (16) Solve the inequality. Graph the solution set and write the solution set in set filter notation. Inequalities we solve with the same as in an equal sign. This one we're gonna factor, it's a trinomial, open a set of parentheses, factors of 3 is gonna be only 3 and 1. So 1x, 3x, bring down the first sign, which is positive, positive and negative give me negative. Factors of 20 is gonna be 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. I'm trying to match the middle chain, which is a 7. I know anything multiplied by 20 is going to be too big. Anything multiplied by 10 is going to be bigger than 7. So I'm going to choose to stick with the smallest factors. And this one only have 1. So not too many choices. I'm going to place here 5 and 4 to see what happens. Multiply inners. That gives me 15x. Multiply outers. I only checking if my factoring is correct. 4 times 1 is going to be 4, negative 4. X, if I subtract this, I know we're going to get the right number. This is going to give me 11. So when that doesn't work, what you do, you only flip these two around. So 5 here and 4 here. So this is going to give me 15. I did the same thing again. 4 here and 5 here. Sorry. 4 here and 5 here. So this is going to give me 12. X positive minus 5x, and that is going to give me a positive 7x. If this matches the middle term in here, that means your factoring is correct. Now we're going to take each parenthesis, and we're going to equal that to 0, and we're going to solve. Negative 4, cancel. X is equals to, well, we have to keep using the same inequality symbol. So X is greater or equals to negative 4. And here we're going to add 5 on both sides. Cancel. 3x is greater or equals to negative 5. Divide by 3, both sides. So cancel 3, we have x is greater or equals to negative 5 over 3. It should divide by a negative number or multiply by a negative number. Only if the number is negative. Yeah. So if you graph that, thank you. If you subtract that, if you graph that, it's going to be negative 4. I'm going to say that it's around there. And then 5 over 3 around here. And it's saying that x is greater than 5. So greater means it's going that way, right? And x is greater than negative 4. So the same thing is going this way. This is a positive infinitive. I took the... That's why I put a bracket. It's greater than -4. Oh, you're looking at the answers? It should be D. Less or equal? Where? A and B. A and B. No, the answer is this one. Both of them are going this way. They didn't flip the signs. We didn't flip them because we didn't multiply or divide by a negative number. You see, this is going one way, this is going the other way. Yeah. Okay. 17. Find the equation of the line with the given properties. So we have a point, which is 3, 1, x and y, perpendicular 2. When they're talking about perpendicular, that means the one also use the slope, but it's going to be the opposite. That is a -2, it's going to be positive, and it's going to be 1/2. Now, for this one, we have to use the same formula that we used before. Y1 equals to m parentheses x minus x1. And we have everything. We only need just to plug it in. So y, we leave it the same. Y1 is going to be 1. 1/2 x minus 3. We're going to distribute. One over 2 x minus 3/2. Now we're going to add 1 in both sides of the equal sign. This cancel. We have y is equals to 1/2x. I'm going to do this on the side. We have -3/2 plus 1. We need to have the same denominator in order for us to combine fractions. So we're going to multiply top and bottom by 2. So I have -3/2. It's going to be 2/2. Negative sign, subtract, keep the sign of the largest one. It's going to be -1/2. So that is going to be here, -1/2. And that is your answer. Questions on this one? University Theater sold 447 tickets for a play. Tickets cost 22 per adult and 11 per senior citizen. If total receipts were 6,479, how many senior citizens tickets were sold? We're gonna create two equations. We're gonna create a system of equations. So they're telling me that in total we sold 447 tickets. I'm gonna call X for adults and Y seniors. So seniors plus adults plus seniors is equals to a total of 447. In money, they sold a total of 6,479, and they're telling me that each ticket per adult, so it's 22 per adult and 11 per senior. So we have to do the same that we did before. We can do elimination. We'll multiply the top equation by negative 11, so I can cancel Y. I should cancel X. I will figure out Y. Maybe that works. So we're going to cancel X by multiplying by negative 2 the top equation. So I distribute the negative 22. Here I'm going to have negative 22x minus 22y equals to 22 times 447, 9,834 negative. Now I have 22x plus 11y equals 6,479. Cancel x. Now I have y to be negative 11y equals to 9,834 minus 6,479. It gives me 3,355 divided by negative 11. This is negative 11 both. Now the y is equals to 305. And that's your answer. Because they're only asking you for the seniors. Question 19. They're giving us a function, b, 0.62 x squared minus 0.04 ax plus 1. P is population. They're talking about species of fish in the local pound. X is in year. So P is my population. And X is years. We are starting the year 1997. And they want also figure out in which year the population will reach 31,044. So we're looking for time for 90 years. So we're looking for X in years. That's what we're looking for. So what we have to do is to substitute P for the population that is given, 3144.
Like what we did. Yeah, and that would be the reverse. Then to find the x original, go back to it. So when the quadratic form. Figure out what x is.
So we're going to start by subtracting the population, the 31,044, both sides of the equal sign. Now we have 0 equals 0.62 x squared minus 0.048 x minus 3143. When you see that you have a trinomial and factoring is the thing to do, quadratic formula is the only thing for this one because we have decimals. So there's no way that you can factor just by hand. We have to use the quadratic formula. So I like to label my variables. It's going to be A, 0.62. B is going to be a negative 0.048. And C is going to be a negative 31,043. Quadratic formula, x equals negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all this over 2a. Okay. B negative 0.04a plus minus square root of b negative 0.04a squared minus 4 times a times c two times a. If you're able to get until this point in the test, you're good because the rest is just calculator. So if we put in the calculator, you can open parentheses, negative. You are going to start for the inside of the square root. 0.048 close parenthesis raised up to second power minus 4, open parenthesis, 0.62, close parenthesis, open parenthesis again for this last one, 31,043, close parenthesis. That gives you a long crazy number. Here you're going to start by cleaning up the signs. So negative and negative is going to be a positive 0.48 plus minus. Inside of the square root, I'm going to have 76, 986.6423. No, it's around here. You got the same? Similar? Someone is trying? You guys need your graphing calculator. Now in the bottom, I'm gonna have 2 times 0.62, 1.24. So now square root of that big number. You give me, I'm gonna rewrite all this, plus minus 277.464, and you keep on going. All these up, sorry for that, divided by 1.24. Solve the compound inequality gives the solution in both interval and graph form. We have two different inequalities, 4x less than 20 and x plus 4 greater than 6. We have to solve each one, and the most important part is to remember there is an and in between the two. So we're going to divide by 4, both sides cancel. Now we have x is less than 5. Here we're going to subtract 4 in each side of the inequality sign. Now we have x is greater than 2. The thing about and, that means that is where the two overlap. If we don't have overlapping, it's no solution. When you have an or, they don't care. It's whatever is on the graph. So as you go to the number line, we have 0, 2, 5. So it says the x is less than 5. So that means it's going to be going this way. And x is going to be greater than 2. So it's going to go this way. So our solution is going to be the overlapping section, which is from 2 to 5. So that's the graph, and the one that in interval and graph. So that's going to be x is equals to, no, interval notation, here, parentheses. Question 21. In the line of taxolot, the function, so we're going to write the function 0.16 x minus 8500 plus 700 represents the tax bill T of a single person whose adjusted gross income is X dollars for incomes between, so X is going to be the income. And it has to be between 8,500 and 25,400. What is the single filer tax bill if the adjusted gross income is 18,400? So the number is in between those two, so we are good. What we need to do is to substitute our X, which is the income, to find the tax. So 18,400, 1.16, substitute the X again. It's going to be 18,400 minus 8,500 plus 700. If you put all that in your calculator, you will get the answer. So that should be 2284. Thank you. Can go to question 22. Solve an application of the quadratic function. April school. April shoots an arrow upward and the air speed 64 per second. So the speed was 64 feet per second from a platform that is 18 feet high. So this is 18 feet high. The height of the arrow is given by the function. So we have a function here, height, and function the height and time. So it's negative 16 t squared plus 64 t plus 18, where t is the time in seconds. What is the maximum height of the arrow? We're talking about is we are here, right? 18 feet high, and we shoot an arrow. It's gonna do something like this. It's kind of like a parabola. If we're looking for the highest point, that's our vertex. So the vertex formula, we have A and B. A is negative 16. B is going to be equals to 64. And the vertex formula is negative B over 2 times A. So negative B is going to be negative 64. A is going to be 2 times A, which is negative 16. Help me out with the calculator. I don't have mine anymore. My boss took it. Negative 32. Yes, no one is working the calculator. Thank you. If you divide 64 by 32, 2. So it's going to be a positive 2 because negative with a negative gives you positive. So they're asking really for the maximum height. So I need to take the 2 and plug it in the original function. So I have height of 2, it's going to be negative 16, 2 squared plus 64, 2 again plus 18. And you put all that in your calculator, you can help me. Hmm? 82. So the maximum height of the arrow was 82 feet, which is C. You have questions? No? Okay.
Correct. Your answer is correct.
I know.
It starts after was 1997.
But this is the problem. It's not 31 point.
Yes, it is point.
Where?
Because it is set in thousands. So converting the number given to thousands means 31 point. Okay, so that is correct. Adding that, you get 2000.
Yeah, I did all this, but then I when I was doing it here, I couldn't figure out what I put the decimal there.
Yeah, and it's a popular question.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of students get it wrong because of the thousand.
Okay.
We good?
Yes, thank you. Okay, next question. 23. When an object is dropped to the ground from the high meters, it takes for the object to reach the ground is given by the equation. So time is in base of time. High, and this is over 4.9. With the meters is in second. If the object falls 19.6 meters. So that's the high. It's falling from the high of 19.6 And the time is going to be in seconds. That's all the information that we have. Find the time it took for the object to fall. So the only thing that we can do is substitute the height where the object fall. So we're going to have the 19.6 over 4.9. The only thing that we have to go is our calculator, the square root, and put 19.6 over 4.9. 4. So the time was 4 seconds. It's 2. I'm trying to find it here. Oh yeah, it's 2 seconds. $24. Okay, just by looking at it, even though this is a quadratic, it's not a linear, we still can think about our formula ymx plus b, right? And b is still going to be b, even though this is a quadratic one. So my y-intercept is going to be negative a. Just by looking at it, this one cannot be, because it's in a positive a, maybe. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's an a here, positive. So that cannot be. And which other one? Okay, this one cannot be. You always can, right from the get-go, you can cancel 2 and only work the other 2 out. It's a positive. The first number, the leading term, is positive. So it must be going up, not down. So that's why this one cannot be. This one is in the wrong spot, the y-intercept. So the only other 2 that you can do is that one. To find the x-intercept, we have to substitute y for 0, right? That means we need to factor. Minus 2x minus a, what? Always goes in descendant order. So the highest exponent goes first. So always, even though they sometimes write in a different order, always you have to look for the highest exponent. That's going to be your leading term. So with factor here, we're going to have x and x. Bring down the first sign, negative, negatives and negative gives you positive. Factors of a is going to be 1 and a. 2 and 4 is I subtract because the signs are different. I need to match negative 2, which is going to be 2, 4, and 2. So my x-intercept is I solve here. I equals this to 0, equals this to 0. Add 4 in both sizes. So one of my x-intercepts are going to be at 4. And the other one is going to be at, subtract 2 on both sizes, is going to be a negative 2. So negative 2 here and 4 here, so this is my answer. This one that did the opposite. This is negative 4 and this is 2. $25. Okay, we're going to add then. Remember when you can put this in your calculator and it's going to give you the answer with a right exponent and everything. But if you want to do it by hand, we can. So the only thing that you have to remember when you add in and you have decimals is to line up your decimals. 4 plus 1 is going to give you 5, 6 plus 1 is 7, and 6 plus 6 is going to give you 12. You have 10. Remember when you multiply variables, you add exponents, more or less the same thing is happening here. This is, so if you add them because they have the same signs, you're going to have raised to the -8, right? So it's going to be 12.75, 10 to the -8. But when we're doing scientific notation, we must have our decimal between 0 and 9, and this is between 12. That means I have to move my decimal 1 to the left. So now I'm going to have 1.275 x to the 10. Because I move a 1 to the left, it's going to go down by 1. Questions on this one? I added together. You have to multiply. Sorry. Multiply that in the calculator. I think was 4.06. Why did I add it? I didn't notice. Okay. Multiply 6.64, 6.11. You multiply, and you're gonna get 1. Let me do it quickly. 6.11. 5704. Okay, the decimal we have to move it 1 to the left, and the same thing, the rule apply. It was here to the -8, right? That is the same. When I move it 1 to the left, it's going to be 1.057 to the -7 because I move it 1 to the left. You can even do the 10, and it's also for you. The 10, the x10.
You want to know about scientific notation?
Oh, I don't know that. Sometimes you guys know more stuff in the calculator than me. Oh, because you did regular multiplication. You have to okay. Do you have this second? No, this one. This one, look. Delete that one. Second. Do you see the 10? Mm-hmm. You have it right there. Try to do it right now. It's not coming up. But I
didn't know there was a thing.
That one does it. He knows a different way. I heard before about it, but I don't know how to do it. How you doing?
Mode, mode, and then go over one, multiplication, and then you hit enter, and then clear.
And then you put that in?
Yeah. The answer is not.
Oh yeah. Solve the system by substitution. Maybe this one is the one that you were talking about before. There's a different way to do it. By substitution, I'm gonna take the top one because the x is already by himself. Middle doesn't have a coefficient. So I'm gonna add 5y in both sides of the equal sign. Cancel. I have x is equals to 5y negative 13, and I'm going to substitute the x in the second equation. So 4, open parentheses, and I'm going to write all these for x. 5y minus 13, negative 6y equals negative 10. The first step is to distribute the 4. So that's going to give me 20y minus, doesn't read it well from here. 4 times 13. 4 times 13, 52, minus 6y equals negative 10. Now I'm going to combine like terms. This one and this one. If I subtract this, it's going to give me 14y minus 52 equals to negative 10. I'm going to add 52 on both sides. Cancel. Okay. I'm going to have 14y equals to 42 divided by 14 both sides. Thank you. So it's going to give me 3. 3 for y. Now I'm going to take 3 and I'm going to plug it in the top equation just because it looks easier. Because I have x by himself, so I have to do less work. So I have x equals 5, y equals negative 13, and I substitute y by 3 equals to negative 13. So x is equals to 15 equals negative 13. Add 15 in both sides. I'm reading correctly. 15 in both sides. Cancel. I have x is equals to positive 2. So that's your answer. 2, 3. Questions on this one? 27. Use the quadratic formula to solve the equation. You want to do the same thing in A. It's going to be 12. Oh, we have to solve it first. So add 144 in both sides. So I have 12x squared plus 144x equals negative 276. Now you're going to add 276 in both sides. Cancel here. So I have 12x squared plus 144x plus 276 equals to 0. So now I can see my A is 12, B is going to be 144, and C 276. Negative B plus minus B squared minus 4AC, all this over 2A. So I'm going to substitute all the numbers, all the variables. So negative 144 plus minus b squared is going to be 144 raised to the second power minus 4. A is 12 times C, 276. All this over 2 times A, which is 12. So 144 raised to the second power is going to be, no. It gives me 20,736. Now I'm going to multiply everything negative 4 times 12 times 276. And they give me negative 13,248. $4.24. So negative 144 plus minus. Now I'm going to subtract the inside of the square root. $74.88. Everything over 24. The number is huge, so I can show you a trick how to find the factors. Look at your choices, your answer choices. No. Every professor does whatever they want. So some of them stick to something really close to this, and some of them just come out with whatever. So I don't know if they're going to be in the computer, on paper, or how. Yeah. So as you look at your answer choices, you're going to have a lot of 13s and 23. So I will divide that to see what happened. If I divide 74.88 by 13, you got 576. So if the 576 is not inside the square root, only the 13, I would think, okay, what about if I do the square root of 576? And that's 24. So 24 is going to get out. Let me see if I can explain this a little better. We have plus minus, and what I did, I broke 13, and this was 576. All this over 24. 13 is not going to get out because it's not a perfect square. 576 it is. So what you have to do is you need to put 576 in your calculator and find the square root of it. Which is 24. So you're going to have the square root of 13. Another way, you know the tricks in the calculator is you go to y equals. Put y equals and look for factors of 74.88. You know how to do that? You just learned it not too long ago. You go here. Just to say 576. Just any number. You divide by x and you go second table. This table is going to show you all the factors of that number. 3218, 2222. That's why 2424. That's why 24 is coming out as the perfect square. Every time you factor in and you need to find the factors of any number, you can do that. Go to y equals, and you're going to divide any number that you're looking for by x, and then you go second table. Table is graph. And you can find all the factors of that number in there. So now we need to simplify. I have 24 as a denominator, 24 the square root of 13, and 144. If I divide 144 by 24, I get 6. So these two are going to give me 6, negative 6, plus minus. 24 divided by 24 is going to be 1. I don't write that. Square root of 13. And that is your answer. The rule for exponents is that we can have exponents, negative exponents, right? So I have 27. I have a raised to the negative 3. When we have an exponent that is negative, we have to move it to the top to change the sign to positive, or from the top to the bottom. So I'm going to move the a that is in the bottom to the top. Now it's a positive 3. I have a b in the denominator with a 6, right, as an exponent, and I have 1, b6 negative on the top. So I'm going to move it to the bottom just to change the sign to positive. Now when we multiply variables, we add the exponents. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to combine them. So I'm going to have a raised to the 6th power, and in the bottom I'm going to have b to the 12th power. All this is raised to 1 over 3. Remember the rules of the exponent. When you have a fraction, you can convert that to a root. So we're going to have the cubic root of 27 a to the 6th over b12. (27) is the same thing as saying 3 raised to the 3rd power. And we can break our variables in 3 and 3. So you know how many times you can get them out. b, 3, 3, 3, and 3. That gives you 12. So 3 is going to get out 1 time. Let me keep this organized. A is going to get out twice, and B 4 times. And that is your answer. That was clear? Sometimes it gets tricky when you have to break so many times the variables. The idea with the cubic root is the same as the square root. You need to have, here is a 3. The exponent has to match the index of the root. Are we good? Yeah? Okay. 29. The vertex. To find the vertex, we have to figure out what it's B, A and B. So A is 1 and B is 2. And the formula for the vertex, we did this already, is negative B over 2A. The only thing that you need to do is substitute the numbers. Negative 2 over 2 times 1. That is a negative 2 over 2, which is equals to negative 1. For the vertex, they want you to have the point, the x and the y. This one is the x. Now to find the y, we have to take the negative 1 and plug it back in the function. negative 1. So it's going to be a negative 1 raised to the second power plus 2 times negative 1 minus 3. So 1 times 1 is going to give you positive 1. Positive 2 times a negative 1 is going to be a negative 2 minus 3. That is going to give you a negative 5 plus 1 is a negative 4. So y is going to be negative 4 and x is going to be negative 1. So this is your answer. That's the vertex. Question 30. The domain. Every time they ask you for the domain and you have a square root, you have to think about we can have negative numbers in our square root. So you have to take the inside of the square root and you have to equals to be greater or equals to 0 and you solve for it. So we're going to subtract 6 in both sides of the inequality sign. And we have negative 5, x greater or equals to negative 6. We're going to divide by 6 both sides of the equal sign. When we divide by negative numbers in the inequality, we have to flip the sign. So 5 cancel. Now we have x is less or equals to positive 6 over 5. So if you put that in the number line, you can see the answer. You have 0. Around here you have 6 over 5. And it's saying that x is going to be less or equals to. So it's going to be everything here. So thinking about the negative infinitive. So infinitive always go with a parenthesis. It's going to go all the way to 6 over 5 bracket because we have the equal sign.